In this video, I'll show you how to use Google Forms. This will be a step-by-step beginner's guide. I'll show you first how to create a form, then I'll show you how you can view the responses and analyze the data. So let's jump into it and I'll show you everything you need to know as a beginner about Google Forms. So to get there, you want to go to Google and I'd just do a search here for Google Forms. You can access it other ways, but I just like to search for it. You can then go to the Google Forms sign-in page. If you've already got a Google account, it will take you straight here. And from here, you'll see your recent forms if you've created any of them before. You'll also see some templates. And if you click on this downwards arrow, you'll see more templates that you can use and create a form from. Now, they have very simple forms like a contact information form. Maybe you've got a party invite or an RSVP form. What I would recommend you do though is create from a blank form so you can understand how to use this and the key features in Google Forms. It really isn't that complicated. We'll get you all sorted in a couple of minutes here. So click blank form and that will take you into the untitled form. And the first thing I would do is name your form. Now this name here, you'll see it inside of Google Drive and you'll also see it inside of Google Forms as well. So it's best to name it just to know what form you're working with. I'm going to create a form for a job interview. So I'm just going to call this job interview. And then we can change the title here as well. I'm just going to keep it as job interview. We can also add a form description. Okay, so now we've done that. We've got very basic text editing tools. You can bold, italic, underline, and so on. You can also make links here, which can be quite useful if you're trying to link to something which may be useful inside of the Google Forms. Now, by default, the setting will be enabled, so people have to enter in their email address before they submit the form. If you don't want this setting to be enabled, you can just change it by going to change settings and then go to responses. And then here where it says collect an email address, you can change this to do not collect. If you change this to do not collect and go to questions, you'll see the email form has now gone and there's no option to enter in an email. Now you can manually ask them and you can make it so they don't have to enter in their email. And I'm going to cover all of that in a second. So first we'll go ahead and ask the first question. So you want to click on the question, then it will bring up this box where we can ask a question. So the first question that I'm going to ask is, what is your name? So I'm going to put here, what is your name? And we can then change the question type. Now, because obviously we need them to enter in their name, we don't want them to choose from a multiple choice. We can click on this, and then for this, a short answer will be appropriate. So we can leave it at that. Now, if we wanted to add an image, we could click on this image button and you can upload an image. You can add an image from the webcam, from photos, URL, Google Drive, or Google Images. For the name though, I don't think you really need it. You can also make this form required or not. So do you require them to enter this box? If so, make sure this is checked. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create a new one. So we'll go to add question. You can also here import questions. You can add a title and description. You can add an image, and this is going to break up your form. You can also add a video and a section. I'm going to just add a question for now though. Now I'm going to ask a question which requires a more in-depth answer. So I'm going to put here, in detail, explain your experience with YouTube. Then we're going to change this from a multiple choice to a paragraph. And you can see they can now enter in a long text. We'll keep that required. We'll then create a new question. Now I might want to ask a multiple choice question. So I'll just start making these up now. So you would ask your question here. Obviously you'd have a use case for it. And then with a multiple choice, you can add options. So you got option 1, you got option 2, option 3, and you can customize these. You can also add images. So if I wanted to add an image just to this option to make it more visual, we could go to images and we could add an image here. Let's just add the YouTube logo, click insert, and it's going to add this image. There we go. So there is the image. And this is required as well. Now we can keep asking questions all we like. We can obviously choose checkboxes, drop down, multiple choice. You can also get people to upload files. And that's pretty much all you can do for the questions. Now, we want to head over now to the customization of your form. So if you go to this customize theme icon, you can click on that and you can customize the font, the text size, the color. Maybe we'll change it to red for YouTube. You've got the background. And if you wanted to add a header, you can choose an image and you can upload one. I'm going to add one from Google here. I'll just add this one. But you can obviously add whichever one you want. Maybe you have a custom one that you want to add. So now we've added that, it's also changed the theme color. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and go to settings. Now you can make this a quiz if you want to make a quiz form. Basically that's pretty much all you need to worry about in settings. You can limit the form to 1 response if you only want 1 response per person, but that's going to ask people to then sign into their email address, sign into their Google account, right? So you know it's only 1 response per person. So that's how that works. I'm going to uncheck this for now though. Now let's go ahead and send this form to someone. So if we wanted to send it, we'll go send. We can then either send by email, or if you want to just get a link, click on this copy link icon, click shorten. It's going to create a shortened link. And this link now you can go and give to anyone. So let's just fill this form out ourselves. So what is your name? John. In detail, explain your experience with YouTube. I run 2 YouTube channels. What is XYZ? Option 1. And then option 1 again. Okay, so let's pretend this form was now filled out and the response has been recorded. Now we could find the responses of that form inside of the responses section. So if you click on that, you'll see your responses. You can view here via a summary and you'll see all of the responses, and this will give you a summary of each question. You can again click on question and skip through them. You can click and view the responses as an individual. Or if you have a lot of data, you can link it to a Google Sheet. So if you click link to sheets, you can then create a new spreadsheet, and then all of your data will essentially be imported, including the timestamp, into Google Sheets, and you can go ahead and view this. Now, if you wanted to come back to your responses, there are a couple of ways that you can do it. If you go to Google Forms now and you scroll down, you'll see your recent form. So let me go out of this template gallery. Here in your recent forms, you'll see all of the forms you created. You could click on it, you could go then to responses, and then you could view your sheet or your summary, or you could alternatively go to Google Drive and find it that way, but I would just find it through Google Forms, to be honest. It's much easier. But that's been an overview. You don't need to complicate it. You don't need a 20-minute long video. I hope that helped you out. If you've got any comments, put them in the comment section below.